The Sixers did open up their second-round series, or will, against the Hawks tomorrow. So what do you make of the first round, Scott, and what's the overall playoff experience been like for you as a fan and as a CEO?
Well, I've been with this team since for 8 seasons, so I've been through the hell of the process era, winning 28, 17, 10, 18, 28, and then all of a sudden 4 playoff appearances. So it's nice to sit atop the East. It's definitely more fun to be a favorite. It's definitely more enjoyable to have home court advantage. And having fans in the building has sent chills up my spine.
Scott O'Neil is my guest. He's got a brand new book out called Be Where Your Feet Are. And Scott, that was an amazing thing you just said. The hell of the process era. I bring that up because Brett Brown and I used to talk about the process and that time. And the fact that you all knew that it was a process, but that doesn't mean that it didn't take an emotional toll on everybody involved, because as competitors, nobody wants to lose. What was it like when you knew you had a process and you had a plan, but you're in a really tough city that's demanding, that wants to win, and it's just not happening right then?
Well, it's just not the city. I mean, it's us. I mean, we're all competitive. I've been accused of having a competitive problem before, and it took its toll. I mean, the good news is we had a vision for the future that was bigger and better than we've been. We hadn't won 50 games since 2002, so we knew we had to change the way we were. We walked into that team, remember, having 2 first-round picks over the next 5 years, a cap team with not very talent. So we were trapped where we were, and knew we had to change the trajectory. But it was hard, man. There was pressure coming from like a 22-year-old school aide at my daughter's school, from the media, from the fans, and even from my own household. So we were under a lot of pressure. I thought Brett was an extraordinary ambassador for this team and had that team playing hard every night. And you know what? Similar to my time when I was at the Knicks and we had Linsanity, that movement, when I got to the Sixers and we had this movement called Trust the Process, it actually gave the fans something to rally around. We weren't ambivalent anymore. You didn't hum. You didn't this team. You might have hated it, but you were passionate, or you loved it and you were passionate. And that's the start of something special. But the team always showed up under Brett Brown. Always. We played hard and we got after it. As Brett told me one day over a long dinner, he said, I'd rather fight to the death with spoons than lay down with knives.
It's an awesome line. Scott O'Neil joining us.
Great?
That is a great line. That is a great line. Now, when we talk about the process, of course, you think about Joel Embiid. The team did announce this week that he's got a small tear of the lateral meniscus in his right knee. So, Scott, what was your reaction when you learned that news? And as an organization, how are you going about dealing with that particular injury?
Sure. Well, first, I went to business school, not medical school. So we have incredible doctors around us. Joel is no longer like the young man. He's a man. And as I found, I've been in this league for 25 years, and the one thing I know for sure is that the older these guys get, the more veterans they become, the more they understand their own body. He's anxious to get on the court. He's talked to great medical experts. My first reaction was, oh, no. And my second reaction was, this guy's a warrior. He's the MVP of this league. He does things every single night that I've never seen before, and I cannot wait to get him back on the court.
Scott O'Neil is my guest. His new book is called Be Where Your Feet Are. That book is out right now. So, Scott, shifting away from the team for a minute to your story. Your dad coached basketball. You grew up loving the game. I had Jay Wright on this show a few days ago. I know your paths crossed at Villanova. What was that like?
He cut me from that team.
He cut you?
Yes. Jay
Tell
Wright
me.
Called me in his office. He was an assistant for Raleigh Massimino and said, son, this is not happening for you.
And you said what in response?
Well, we just had this drill. Raleigh Massimino was the head coach, and he was a bit of a screamer and yeller and a brilliant coach. And they'd kept 2 of us throughout the fall to practice with the team. We're kind of practice dummies. And whenever something would go wrong, he would have this drill where you stand on the block, and the players would run full steam at you, and you had to take a charge. And I had Doug West. I don't know if you remember Doug West, but a heck of a player,
Yes.
big body. He went through me first, and I felt like I had died. And then Gary Massey, who you might not remember, was just a leaper, like smaller but a leaper. And he literally jumped over me and kicked me in the face. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get back to studying. That's where I need to focus my energy. Because there's only one way I'm getting to this league, and that's as an executive.
That's great. Scott O'Neil joining us. So you did play the game, though, and you coached your daughters playing the game, and you've talked about how much you've gotten from the sport. Lay this out for me. What has the sport of basketball done for you and given to you? The sport of basketball, first off, has just taught me life about life and values.
It's about how to lead, how to follow, how to win, how to lose, how to compete, how to sweat. I love this game. It's given me most of my friends in life have come through the game of basketball. It's given me a connection with my father. Unfortunately, God rest his soul, he's passed away. It's the connection I have with my brothers, even when we were slugging out in the backyard.
So how do you go about having the discipline and the focus to be present and to be where your feet are? What does that process look like?
I will tell you, when I was during our 10-win season, I came home one night and I was all grouchy and grumpy. Like I said, losing is very difficult for me. I came in and my wife looks me dead in the eye and she's like, "Are you serious?" I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "This act." I was like, "What act?" She's like, "Are you kidding me with this attitude?" I was like, "Did you see the game tonight?" She's a big hoop fan. And she said, "Yeah, I saw the game." I said, "Did you see us get booed?" I said, "Yeah, I saw you get booed." I said, You saw us lose by 20 points, right?" She goes, "Scott, how many games are you going to lose this year?" I was like, she's like, 50? I'm like, "I hope it's 50. It's okay, 60, 70, 70 times, 70 nights you're going to come home like this? Like, this doesn't work for me. And it's not going to work for this family. And so I got to tell you, it was like a good wake-up call. We need people in our lives that will tell us the truth. And she loves me enough. She's a tough lady, Lisa. And she's tough enough and loves me enough to tell me the truth. And we've got to help each other. That's the first thing. I called a friend of mine after that night, and he said, he's like, I have a worry tree. Don't you have a worry tree? He's like, I every time I come home, I put my hand on a tree, and all my worries fly up to it. I said, I don't have that tree, but I sure as heck want one. And so I don't have a tree, but I use the ride home. And I think we all have to find buffers for ourselves and markers for ourselves. And for me, it's that ride home. I howl at the moon. And when I get home, I'm a dad and I'm a husband. And that's just a discipline that I've committed to. And am I perfect at it? Is that what you're asking? No. Let me tell you. 2 nights ago, my wife and I were out to dinner. She looks me dead in the eye, and we're in they're in the heat of a playoff race. So of course I'm interested in scores. So I looked down at my phone for probably 8 seconds, and she says, "I'll wait." That's the dagger.
Wow.
"I'll wait." Looks me right in the eye. I was like, "No. She's like, no. That's clearly more important in our conversation. I'll wait." And it's like, look, we need to face the music, and we need discipline, and we need to get better, and we need to hold each other accountable. But in the house, at the dinner table, put the phones down. At night, put the phones down. If you're watching a show together as a family or playing a game together as a family, leave the phones in another room. When we have the discipline to do that, we will be more connected, have richer conversations, and have better lives.
We will be more mindful. We will be more present. And Scott, I love that story that she said to you, "Hey, listen, by the way, how many games are you going to lose this year?" And you said, "I don't know, 50, 60, 70. And she said, "And you're going to come home every single night like that after one of those losses?" Quote, "That doesn't work for me." That is a great anecdote. I love that.
Yeah, I didn't like that very much, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's
I thank you very much for that, Scott. I really enjoyed that. But I would tell you the same sort of thing goes on in my house, but I'm the one saying it. So, yeah, no, I did enjoy that because I respect her, and that's cool. So, last thing, what is a leadership constitution, and how would you summarize your leadership constitution?
Sure. A leadership constitution is simply you answer these first 2 questions. I declare that I am ... and you can count on me to be ... For me, I'm a leader of leaders. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I will do anything, anytime for you as a friend and give the shirt off my back for a perfect stranger. You can count on me to be loyal, intense, push you, hug you, love you, even when you don't want to be pushed, don't feel like being loved, and certainly don't want to be hugged.
Thing is, Scott, I mean, this is so cliche, but on the topic of leadership really quickly, are great leaders made or are they born?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm the son of 2 leadership development consultants. So I guess you might and my 3 brothers are also running companies, and my sister's about to run one. So I would say we have a lot of good DNA. On the other hand, I've been a captain of every team I've ever played on growing up as a kid. So I think there's some of that's inert, but I think a lot of it can be taught and trained. And I'm generally of the opinion that the best leaders, there is no cookie cutter approach to leadership. The best leaders understand their authentic self. And if you're a rah-rah guy, be a rah-rah guy. If you're not, don't. You cannot pretend to be who you are not. People won't follow you. These Gen Zs today, and I love this next generation. They're smart. They're connected. They want to believe in something better than the mundane jobs they have, but they want to see authenticity. They want to see personal connection. They want complete transparency, and that's the new contract we have with this next generation. And they sniff out phony in 2 seconds. So all those aspiring leaders out there, or emerging leaders, or those of you who want to run a company or about to run a company, just make sure you know who you are. Spend time figuring that part out and reinforce it. And a leadership constitution is a great tool to get you there.